So here is why the threat of everybody becoming a reseller is simply not going to happen, and the threat of there's going to be no place to source from is simply going to not happen. Hi everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. It's a beautiful evening out here. It's not even that hot. It's amazing. Look at that. Sun's setting back there behind the trees. Let me tell you, there are a lot of people who talk to me all the time and they're afraid about where reselling is going, and there's a couple specific reasons. Sometimes people blame people like me for some of these problems, and that's okay. But I'm here to tell you there is nothing. I'm going to read you a little something. There's nothing that you need to worry about out there. After you read this, you'll know what I mean. I think we're headed in the right direction. Side note, most days I don't feel like I get enough accomplished. There's always so much to do. But yesterday, and I even got to play catch with Turner yesterday for quite a while. Yesterday I feel like I got a bunch of stuff done. Today we've conquered a lot as well. You ever feel like that? You ever feel like I can't get everything that I need to get done? I stopped making lists in the morning and I just started doing. I'm like, I did okay. I do need like a long-term list though. I'll get to that in a minute. Gotta get to the topic. Hate breed. I have no idea who these people are. I have a feeling a lot of this stuff I'm selling is a little shady. Stuff I'd never let my kids listen to. But we're selling it. $30. I don't know what the heck it is. $30.60. This is all profit at this point after you take off the fees and the shipping, of course. But we're making a little bit on the shipping, I think, plus shipping. All right, we're going to jump right into this and kind of keep hitting it throughout the rest of the video. I think I have like 13 things headed out of here today. I actually filmed yesterday. So normally it's 2 days worth of sales in a video. This is actually 1 day worth of sales, maybe a day and a half. So I watch a lot of social media content regarding our niche, regarding reselling. But what I really like to do sometimes to get some perspective is to look at reselling content on social media that's not from a reseller. And I found one on Business Insider the other day. It popped up in my feed because I'm a reseller. And I had to read the comments. And first of all, I'm reading the comments. I'm like, well, clearly these people didn't read the story because the answers were in the story. But whatever, it gave me a lot of insight into why I think that, you know, I get blamed and other people get blamed for ruining reselling and all that stuff. Why that, okay, there might be some truth in it, but there's very little truth in it, and it's something that I talk about often. There are a lot of people, I don't want to sound insulting, there are a lot of people, either they just don't get it, or they're just simply not able to do the work, or not able is a wrong way to put it. They're not willing to do the work, and then there's a huge segment of the population who just don't need to do it. And I think what I have seen lately is the leveling off of the amount of resellers starting reselling. And I think that the people who are here who do it right are going to continue to make more money. Let me start this story. I'll pick some items. We'll keep going through it. We'll look at the comments and you tell me what you think. All right, it says Brianna is her name. Found a side hustle that works for her business, works for her busy schedule as a mom. I think this is true of a lot of people. How many moms out there listen to this channel? A lot of them do, Poshmark and stuff like this, and she does too. But I'm just curious if that's you out there. Leave a comment below. I started a side hustle last year. It's flexible and earned me nearly $9K and has a great community. That kind of got me hooked on. I'm like, okay, I want to read about this community. Buying and reselling secondhand merchandise isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, but the money adds up. I'm all on board so far. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme for sure. I've learned a lot about how to organize my sales, find the best deals, and turn a profit. We're going to get into this story, but I'll pick an item, get back to it, pick an item, get back to it. It's a cool sale right here. I got Valentine's there, back there, and over here, but this one I think is the right one. I think we have one My Little Pony. I bought a giant lot of these, and I believe I paid $1 a piece. Look at that, Kmart. My Little Pony, actually I paid less. They wanted $1 a piece or something like that, and I bundled them. I can't remember. But they're not huge money, but they're okay money, and there's a bag full of them, so it's a no-brainer to me. These sold for $16.95. Look at that original price right there, $16.95 plus shipping. I took out all of the really recognizable brands that people love and we're selling them off in lots or, you know, singles. I took all the other stuff that was recognized, Disney stuff, and I just bundled it all together, put it over on Shop Comments, so we've got half our money back already on that bag. That one right there gets us within $5 of breaking even. And we've got these right here. We got all of those right there. And then we got those. There's more back around the corner. So definitely going to be a good one. Probably net us, you know, a couple $100 or so. One little bag. It says, the first time I drove into a Goodwill outlet bin, I thought, wait a minute, you're getting in a minute. I dove into a Goodwill outlet bin. I came out holding a broken belt, one flip-flop, and a genuine Missoni shawl. I don't know what Missoni is. Around me, other resellers were elbow deep with gloves on, masks up, tossing clothes like someone buried a gold bar in there. There was no actual gold to dig up. Well, sometimes there is. Just a chance to make money flipping this trash. By the way, I'm reading this not for the story itself, but for the reactions to the story, because this is a story outside of the niche, hitting normal people, unlike us, weirdos. I say that lovingly. You know it's true. Harry Potter keepsake, Ron Weasley. This one right here. I got a bunch of these. I saved one for my daughter, because I like to give every year. My wife buys all the Christmas gifts, and I give the kids stuff I find at garage sales that's new or lightly used. And I put it in the stockings because I don't want to wrap it. Although I wrap one for each of the kids. Storytellers. That one sold for, I don't know, $14.95? Man, I need to get this better, y'all. I talk so much I forget. $15.95 plus shipping. I believe I paid $2 for that one. Welcome to the Goodwill outlet, aka the bins, as regulars call it. It's the final stop before auctioning, recycling, or the landfill. And that's true in some cases, but y'all, some of you at some of these bins realize that when there's overflow at these different outlets, or excuse me, different retail shops, some of that stuff goes right there. It's not the last call for some of it. Some of it is, but some of it's not. Here, sometimes it's the first one. Here you buy by the pound, so the Missoni shawl, which originally retailed for about $350, cost me less than $2. She says she sold that shawl for $62 on a reselling app called Poshmark, which, you know, you've heard of it. Anyway, but you can tell. I say that just to say that it's obviously to a non-reselling crowd. Not preaching to the choir here. This is well outside. This is hard to get 6 of these in one hand while holding a camera, but I did. We're doing good. This is putting us around $100 net profit at this point, just on this lot, because we've sold a bunch already, which is a really good sale. If my dad's watching, thank you. He's the one that found these underneath the table at a yard sale. $30. Penhaligon's Quercus soap, London, $20 plus shipping. Gotta turn them all over because I'm crazy. There you go. She says she was a little disappointed. She could have got more, but she didn't really look it over, and there were some snags and stuff. So, you know, learning curve. I've been exploring this part-time hustle for a little over a year. I sold my first personal item in February 2024 and started taking reselling more seriously, including regular trips to the bins at the beginning of that summer. She says strategic finds like this Missoni shawl helped me earn nearly $9,000 in profit my first year. However, it wasn't just about the money. I've also decluttered my house and found an unexpected online community. Sold another record. We're well over halfway through the records that we did not sell over there on, what were I selling? I sold them on Dibdit. And I had about 15 or 20 or so extra that we didn't sell. And I had more than that we just couldn't get to in 2 shows. Put lots over there on Commons and then picked out some that I thought we could have another show, but let's just sell them over here. So $17.95 for the Water Boys. This is C. See that on there? Is there something on there? Is that supposed to be there? Can you all see that? I don't know. At any rate, that's a nice little sale, $18.95 plus shipping. She says she was first inspired by her best friend. How many of you got into reselling because of somebody you know? I am very curious. Or just tell me, how did you get into reselling? That is a great question. I've told you how I got into it, but you got to tell me. And if you don't remember, maybe I'll repeat it in a different video. My best friend had been thrifting for a long time, but once she discovered Poshmark, everything changed. Suddenly, her weekend hobby was making money. Sometimes when I'm in there working like I was coming in today, I don't always bring stuff over because I know it hasn't sold yet. I bring it over and put it all up at one time. But sometimes when Jess is in there getting ready for a live show, which we did 2 today, they're pretty good. Made over $1,000 in 2 hours, which is really cool. And one of those hours we were co-streaming on Dividend Threads. So sometimes she'll get fed up with all the junk. And she's like, I'm putting this away. And that's what these were. And so, you know that bracelet, WWJD, what would Jesus do? I just asked myself, what would Jess do? In other words, where would she put this? I like to put the stuff away or know where it's at because I have to find it. And I handle the eBay stuff. So I thought, what would Jess do here? Would she put them in the sports bin, these boxing gloves, or would she put them in the toy bin? And I looked at the toys first, and she put them where I would have put them. So I should have just trusted that. Sanibel. These are Star Wars boxing gloves. And they were hard comps to find. I actually bought these in Tennessee during Ray Nashville Flipper's reseller event. I bought them from Chris the Goose. I bought a few items from him, I think around $400 worth. And I was $60 short. This is the last item. $60 short of breaking even on this. They had too much stuff, couldn't take it home, and tried to sell it to Death Pile Picker, and it was too much for him. I was like, yeah, I can help you out. What are you going to do with it? You know, you can't fit it in home. I think Mike was hoping I would say no so that he could get it cheaper, but I said yes because I knew I could make some money. It wasn't going to be a home run, but it was something. And so, like I said, I'm about $60 down on that 200, but this was the sale I was waiting for, and we got it. It sold for $150 plus shipping. So figure break even on the other 2 items, or 3. I think there was 3. And this one is going to put us over the top. So we should make, I don't know, 60 into 150. That's probably $65 to $75 profit on those. I'll take it. I'm going to skip through some of her story because I really want to get to the comments, the reaction to it, even though everything's laid out. She states in here, this was my gross, this was my net profit. She says, you know, I didn't keep track of stuff at the beginning, and then I started to. Shout out my reseller, Genie. She didn't say that. Code Commonwealth. If you're new, get something. Unless you are adept at it and you want to keep track of it, but you got to keep track of everything so you're not paying too much in taxes. You can sometimes not pay anything in taxes if you're new and starting out, and keep track of everything for sure. Out of everything, what surprised me the most was how collaborative reselling is. I'd promote other sellers' Postmark stores on Instagram and they would support me back. She goes into quite a bit of that, and that's what I know this reselling community to be for the most part. There's always exceptions. And she goes into talking about, hey, there's so much out there. She's like, this place, every 10 minutes, there's a new giant bin coming out for 12 hours a day. And it's not as competitive as people think. Although I've been to some bins that are ridiculously competitive, and I've been to yard sales that are too. I get competitive too, but let me tell you, I'm not going to fight to the death over a NES Mario game. It's not going to happen. She also goes into the different things like, hey, you know, I bought this because I thought I liked it. It was trendy, it was cool, and it didn't sell for anything. She says I had to learn the hard way buying things that weren't going to sell. And I would actually say, is this in here? This thing's been listed so long. I would say that that hurdle right there that she got over and kept going is what stops a lot of new sellers, which is good for us. It's not necessarily good for them if they need the money, but good for us. I got this out of a free bin. I mean, it's got to be 3 years ago, y'all. It's been forever. These are called Zwirl balls. If this had great color and great condition, these can go for decent money. Brand new in a box, they go for good money. But this never, ever, ever sold. Until now, on discount, $8.37 plus shipping. Find some of those old Nerf footballs. If they're new or in the package or something, they go for crazy money. I'll mention just a couple more things about the story, then we'll get to these replies out there, and this is why you don't have to worry. Within the first year of opening my reselling store, I've generated $14,000 in revenue, $8,700 after expenses. So she's made a nice little profit in her first year doing this. Listed 784 items and 474 sold, all of which I photographed and wrote descriptions for with relevant keywords. Shopping and listing takes the most time. That's true. Shopping, certainly. I don't spend near as much time sourcing, I think, as other people do, because I basically only do it on Saturdays, with some exceptions. My dining table has become a photo studio covered in a white sheet and flanked by 2 lamps I stole from the bedroom. Some days I'll list until my back aches. A lot of you probably feel that. Reselling is my hobby. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You know, I decided I'd read the very ending of her story, and it sounds like a Commonwealth Flipper video. Reselling is an oddly satisfying mix of entrepreneurship, creativity, and connection. That is, I feel that 100%. And yeah, that's the dopamine hit of finding a valuable flip. I think most of us feel that. What started for me as a decluttering spree became a reminder what looks like trash might actually be treasure. Sometimes you find treasure, sometimes you find people. If you're lucky, you find both. That sums me up 100%. Now, I've often said before, you know, people want to blame folks like me on social media for doing all that. You know, I'm sure there are people that get into it because of that. But man, I'm fully convinced that 90% of people who try this just simply aren't cut out for it. Well, they could be cut out for it. That's kind of insulting. They just aren't willing to do the tough things and to go through the process to actually become good at it like many of you guys. Or I should say probably most of you guys. Bad Religion. Is that a single? This one I think sells by itself. This one, this little lot of Bad Religion CDs, y'all. I've been told CDs are dead, video games, everything's dead. Nothing sells, everything's dead. Okay. This one's cool. Look at this. Had a little a general admission 1993 on it as well. We sold that one for $38, I think, plus shipping. So here is why the threat of everybody becoming a reseller is simply not going to happen, and the threat of there's going to be no place to source from is simply going to not happen as well. Denise says 9,000 ? Wow, I'll make more if I stand at a Walmart door part-time. Sold another LP. Boy, we're getting down. This stuff's been here forever, so there it is right there. Vessel 21 Pilots, right? I think that's right. I think there might have been an issue with this one. I can't remember. I don't remember. But this one sold for $17.06 plus shipping. All right, it's hard to turn around here. Throwing the tennis ball. And I found a no-name kitty. That's right. I told him go get you some treats, all right? I had to put the camera down for a minute because that cat needs attention right now. It'll be jumping up here in just a second. You watch. Because there's no treats in here. So here's the reactions go on like this, y'all. And this is why. See, I told you. It did not take long. You can't get back here. There's no treats. Sherry says, is that $9K after the cost of your time, gas, and labor, all that factored in? This is the way most people think. And of course, but you know what? So is your job. Your job has all that stuff too and more. One of the benefits, yeah, I'm going to have to get rid of no name here for a second, y'all. Just a minute. I'll be honest with you. One of those benefits when I stopped teaching here, where's my little stone? I lost it. Tells me the date. I always look at it. My viewer sent it to me. Was the benefit of the fact that a lot of expense, you know, eating out all the time, running around, being so busy that you're eating terribly, you're spending money on clothes for work, you're doing whatever. A lot of that, come on in, bud. A lot of that just disappeared. So that ancillary cost of having a job and the travel and all that stuff, I just didn't have to do it anymore. A lot of days I don't even leave my house at all. Turner went in to go get some cat treats and look who followed him out here. Come on. I got dog treats. No name will have to come in a minute. All right. Cassie sent you a new joke book the other day and you weren't here. Look at that. Christmas jokes. We're not going to use it yet, but Cassie, thank you so much for that. And Turner's going to tell us a joke.
How come hyenas are so healthy?
How come hyenas are so healthy? I don't know.
Because laughter is the best medicine.
Laughing hyena. Very good. Thank you, bud.
Bye.
Another comment. Does it at least come out to $20 an hour, smiley face? So you can see. Let's see. And here's one. This isn't relevant, but it's still interesting. Oh, my gosh. Cat's up here. There's treats now. And this is why charity shops are getting expensive. Lots of replies to that one, both positive and negative. Do you remember me telling you a while back I screwed up 2 orders in the same week? Well, it came back. They were super nice, and I gave them a little refund, and they shipped it back to me, this Ellie Daily Cruise, and so it could get to the person who bought the thing. What a mess. $56, I think, is what this one sold for. Ellie Daily Cruise. This is the Tortugas bobblehead. It's him sliding with his little sliding mitt on right there. So I'm glad, thank you, by the way, for both parties involved, and it's headed out for $56.95 plus shipping. There's all kinds of comments like that, but it's the next one I think that gives us the insight that tells us we don't really have to be that worried about mass movements of people towards reselling. I don't think we'll ever see that like we saw during the pandemic. I don't think we'll ever see a repeat of that again. I think if anything else, the amount of reselling is going to go up, and the amount of resellers is not going to nearly match that, which means there's going to be more money for those crazy folks like us who keep at it. I know it might be hard to see for some people right now, but that's where I see the trends going. I see it in my own business, and I hope some of you do as well. So this, I bought this, I think, down at Florida at one of the Browns, I think. I think I got it for $5. The Sack is not always a good brand, y'all, but a lot of them are like different material. This is genuine leather, good condition with the tags, and that was what made it a real winner. And so I believe I paid $5 for this one. I could be wrong. I've bought a few of these in the past that were new, but this one sold for $60, $59.95 plus shipping. Now, I've talked about the hourly wage. You know, people talk about ASP and they talk about all this stuff. The only number that matters to me is, as far as inside of the reselling game, is how much money are you really making per hour? And I've run those numbers 100 times and people don't believe the numbers. I'll tell you what, let me do a little side note here. There are a lot of people out there on the internet and social media that do what I do, that do what you do, and they talk about numbers all the time. There are very few. If you do it like I do it, our gross numbers might not be astronomically high like some people's, but the way we do it, the numbers, what is the number on eBay? There's a number on eBay that tells you how much of the money is coming out. There's a percentage, you know, towards fees and towards shipping. And, you know, that number you can track on there. It doesn't track your cost of goods, however. But the way I do this thing, there are very few people. This is not me bragging. This is something most of you already know. Because I'm not going to brag, because you look at my gross numbers compared to a lot of people, they're just like, holy moly, they're just blowing everybody out of the water. But the cost of doing business is one big thing, and that's part of what I do. I don't rent storage units. I don't do outside stuff. I don't lease stuff. I don't pay credit on stuff. Shoot, I got solar panels so that I didn't have to get the massive increase in heating and cooling these places, which worked out for me. It doesn't work out for many people. But my cost of goods are super low. I don't even promote. So my margins are super good. So much so that there's probably only a couple folks out there on the internet that have margins as good as mine. I'm not going to mention their names. There's a couple that have better margins than me. I'm like, wow, you guys are killing it. Who do things the way I do things. There are a lot of people out there who you would be shocked. They get stuff so dirt cheap. They got connections in different places. It's crazy. But garage selling, to me, is the best place to get those high profit margins, as well as the bins in a lot of locations. All right, I said all that just to give context to this part. Angela here, she says, I would also have to comment on the time and the resources she used to make the $9,000 is inefficient. All right, if you have taken the time to work out your time and expenses versus profit, which is in this case $20 per item, without knowing all the details, I think her hourly rate she paid herself would likely be below the standard minimum wage. The question is, did she do this with the intent of automating the process and building a brand that is known for sourcing unique? Okay, you get it. It's this mindset that will keep people out of it. I'm not saying they're wrong. That person is 100% right for them. What I'm saying is, all the other arguments that this lady makes as well, she said it at the conclusion of her thing. This is not my get-rich-quick scheme. This is a passion. This is something she loves to do. And that's what keeps people there. Most of us who do this, I know there's a lot of you out there. I would say 90% of you do this because you absolutely love it. And you don't necessarily have to do it. There are some people who get into this business literally just to make money, and they do not have a love for this, and that's perfectly fine too. But that's why so many of us are in this, and are in this for the long haul. It's because we just simply love it. There's something different about us. We love old things, for instance. There are people like her. She's not looking at old things. She's rescuing something, keeping it out of the... There's a passion about it, and there's a freedom to it That's why you will never see a massive influx. And that's why a lot of the influx that got into reselling when it was cheap and easy and COVID and money out there, they've started to exit. I'm telling you, it's plateaued. I look at the numbers all the time. It's hard to find them sometimes, but I look at them all the time. And so this should be, I hope, encouragement for a lot of folks out there who might see the ups and downs. You might be going through one of those downs right now, and there's a lot of you who are. And we go through them. It happens all the time. I mean, I've been talking about my swings. They've been crazy, like over 1,000 down to $60, and then 800, and then like 100, and then 50, and it's just crazy. That is part of this game. It keeps driving me. It's why I love it. I mean, I cannot express to you how much joy I get out of something like I'm going to show you. What just happened to my light there? That thing's kind of cool. I do have that listed, by the way. Here we go. Back here. I can't tell you, like I said, how happy this makes me. I'm not going to try this time. Sold more of these. How cool is that? They can go to a garage sale. These are the people who are going to sell to us at garage sales or keep donating. You know, you just got to get in somehow, some way, and get the stuff. And you can make the money off of it. And it's not ever going to change. Let me read you one more. Another $30 sale right there. More profit on those soaps. Or should I say on that soap? Soaps? That doesn't sound right. At any rate, here we go. Check this one out. Lene says, maybe it's a misprint. Is it supposed to be a month, not a year? Right? So that's what people think, you know, $9,000 a year. This is a first-time reseller, only sourcing at one place, only selling on one location. They still managed to do that part-time. It's pretty cool. The hours involved in, this is Madge who says this, the hours involved in reselling 470 items, listing, packing, shipping, returns, refunds, shipping supplies, listing fees, 9K is nothing. And then Kara says, and then taxes take half, which they shouldn't. On that, I'm just going to throw this out there and say that she, if she's out there keeping her mileage, keeping track of everything, she's going to pay, depending on how much she makes doing something else, she's going to pay very little on that if you do what you're supposed to. And certainly not half. Shout out my reseller Genie again, code Commonwealth, 5% off. Look, I got to throw this out there one more time because this video is coming out on Monday, which means that 2 days from now over on dibditcards.com, if you have put in a $1 offer on this box of 19.99 Pokemon action flips, you might get it for $1 free shipping. But you got to go put in the offer. We'll randomly select somebody, dibditcards.com. Go over there. It's a $200 box, y'all. $180 to $200 box right there. And you can get it for $1, maybe. One in, like, I don't know how many people have entered so far, but probably 600 or so in the end. You'll notice I haven't been saying quite as many viewer sales as I normally do. But boy, it seems like when the viewers are buying now, they're buying a lot. And I really appreciate that. So I've got to give a shout out. But this came at a good time. I'd really been putting in the work. And the results came one day with a massive day because we sold that silver and then a few $100s on top. It was like a $1,600 and something day. Let me look, see what it was. That was a really good day a little while back. $1,658, followed by 106. I'm like, oh, I got to get back to work. Followed by 213, which isn't where we want to be, but still, it's not the end of the world. Followed by a pretty decent day. We were in the 400s, and then this sale came through, and it was a viewer. Turned it into a really good day, so thank you. I referenced this on the last video, so I'm going to read this first and show it to you. Paul. He says, thank you, Kevin. Actually, this is Paul's account, but it's his wife that's buying, and I referenced that before because she bought last time. You are right. It is the wife using the hubby's account. Thanks for all you do. Check this out. This is amazing. And I priced these things good. You got a good deal on these guys because I wanted them to go, and most of them are already gone. We are certainly well into the profit, but I've been talking about these damn troll dolls here. DAM, Denmark troll dolls. Not all of these are, but most of them are. Let me tell you, look out for them, y'all. And you can always look at the bottom that it says Russ, and sometimes if it says nothing, it means it's probably a damn troll doll. And you can see things on the back. This is a piggy bank one. I'm going to give you the whole number, but I'm going to point out one that sold for a lot of money. This is a piggy bank one. Looks like you got a quarter or something in there. I hope it's a gold coin for your sake. Some of them are piggy banks. These are made in the 60s most of the time. There's another piggy bank with some change in there. I don't know how to get it out so you get the change. You got that one as well. You got this one. The clothing really makes them. And then you got this guy right here. And this is the big winner, y'all. I don't remember exactly what we listed it for. I think it was maybe around $100. This one right here, and this isn't even complete. It's missing a tail, and I think it has clothes or something on it. But if you ever find one that looks like that, pick them up. There are some crazy, crazy comps out there. I had to go look it up because we put $69.95 on this one because it didn't have everything. But man, there are some that go for hundreds out there just like that. So that one right there, plus they did something that a lot of people don't do when they buy as viewers. I don't advertise this anywhere but on this channel. If you want to buy something, use code Commonwealth on eBay. First, go through the link down there. There's a link in the video description. You just click that. You can look at our store. If you're watching on Facebook, there's a link in the About section or at the top of the page, somewhere like that. You can find it. Or you can go to CommonwealthPicker.com. You can find a link over there. I get a little kickback if you go through the link. Not much, but a little bit. And you can buy anything. You can buy it from anybody. It doesn't have to be from me. That's really kind of y'all. And that's going to be part of a video that I'm going to do soon. And a lot of people can access this that don't have social media or have very little social media and get a little bit of a kickback. It's not much money, but it's, hey, might as well. But she used code Commonwealth, so she got 5% off of that whole order, which isn't a ton, but shoot, 5% is 5%. $283.80 plus shipping. We're going to ship them all together, so you're going to get a good chunk of that back. It is very much appreciated. All right, so don't forget, go ahead and make an offer on that. Somebody's going to win it, y'all. Might as well be you. And we're going to start doing that on all those marketplaces. One's going to end, another one's going to start, and all that. I also want to wish a wonderful anniversary to my beautiful, wonderful wife. She probably won't ever hear this, but I love her dearly. And it's been a while. We've been married a while. So, anyway, thank you. And thank you to everybody watching this. I appreciate you. I hope your sales are going well. I hope you can somehow manage the ups and downs of all this. Q4 is coming. That's why I'm trying to do all this for the Dipped at 8 marketplaces. Go join them all, y'all. And then send me a message saying you joined them all. And I don't know. I was going to say I'd give you something, but everybody do that. At any rate, I appreciate you very much. And I can't wait to see you next time.